Welcome to my channel English Stories. Today my topic is Titanic. Part number 1. Introduction. In April 1912, the Titanic arrived in Southampton in the south of England. Everyone was excited about the new ship. It was the biggest ship in the world, the most beautiful, perhaps the fastest. And it was much safer than older ships because it had 16 compartments with emergency doors. The new ship had radio too. Passengers could send messages from the ship to their friends at home. Captain Smith and his officers and sailors were ready. Then the passengers came. Millionaires, young people, families of 6, people from more than 40 different countries. Many of them wanted to begin a new life in America. So the Titanic went to Cherbourg in France, then Queenstown in Ireland, and then left for New York. There were 2,224 people on the ship, but there were lifeboats for only half of them. But that did not matter. The Titanic was unsinkable. Chapter 1. Under the Sea. It was 1 September 1985. Under a ship in the North Atlantic, a camera moved through the dark water. Slowly the camera went down. 1,000 meters, 2,000 meters, 3,000 meters under the sea. On the ship, some sailors waited and watched. Nobody spoke. Then, suddenly, they saw something. There it is. Where? There, look, I can see it. Yes, you're right. It's the Titanic. With the camera, the sailors could see a ship 3,810 meters under the water. It was a very big old ship, and it was in 2 halves. They could see the front half of the ship with their camera, but the back half of the ship was 800 meters away. The sailors were all very happy. They took lots of photographs. The next year they came back with more cameras. The cameras went down under the sea and looked at the ship more carefully. They went all round the ship and took hundreds of photos. Some of the cameras went into the ship too, through the windows. Later there was a film about the ship. People all over the world watched the film and saw the photographs in newspapers. But who built the Titanic? What happened to it? Why did it break in 2 halves and sink to the bottom of the sea? And what about the people on this ship? What were they like, and what happened to them? This is the story of the Titanic. Chapter 2. The biggest ship in the world. More than 15,000 people built the Titanic in Belfast, Northern Ireland. They began building it in 1909 and finished it in 1912. The Titanic was the biggest ship in the world, 46,328 tons, 265 meters long, and 28 meters across. It had 3 big engines, and it could go at 23 knots, 46 kilometers per hour. So it was one of the fastest ships in the world too. The Titanic was very safe. It had 16 compartments and 15 emergency doors. When the captain closed the emergency doors, water could not move from one compartment to the next one. The new Titanic is much safer than older ships, a newspaper said. The Titanic was a very beautiful ship. The rooms for the first-class passengers, like Mr. and Mrs. John Jacob Astor IV, Madeleine was only 18. On the ship, Mr. and Mrs. Astor had 2 big bedrooms, a sitting room, and 3 more rooms. Mr. Astor and his young wife could eat in the beautiful restaurant and talk to rich, famous people like Benjamin Guggenheim, an American businessman, Colonel Archibald Gracie, a soldier and writer, and Mr. Isidore Straus, a businessman from New York, with his wife Ida. The captain of the Titanic, Edward Smith, came to eat with them too. There were many more rooms for the first-class passengers. There they could walk, read, smoke, and listen to music. Third-class passengers waiting for the Titanic. The rooms for the second-class passengers were beautiful too. They were better than the first-class rooms on most ships. But most of the passengers had third-class tickets. These people were not rich. They were working people from England, Ireland, and many more countries. Carla Jensen was a 19-year-old girl from Denmark, and Anna Turja was 18 and from Finland. These 2 young women wanted to begin a new life in America. Third-class passengers had small rooms called cabins on E-deck, a long way under the first-class and second-class passengers. There were 4 beds in every cabin. Sometimes the first-class passengers walked their dogs on E-deck because it had the longest corridors on the ship. But they did not talk to the third-class passengers. They had nothing to say to them. Chapter 3. A City on the Sea. On the 10th of April 1912, the Titanic left Southampton in the south of England. The ship went to Cherbourg in France and then to Queenstown, near the city of Cork in Ireland. A lot of third-class passengers got on here. Then the Titanic went west towards New York. On Sunday, 14th April, Colonel Gracie got up early. He had breakfast, finished reading a book, and talked to his friends Mr. and Mrs. Strauss. On the boat deck, Mrs. Astor talked to Thomas Andrews, the designer of the Titanic. "I know all about this ship," he said. "Do you have any questions, Mrs. Astor?" "Yes," she said. "How many people are there on this ship?" Thomas Andrews took a book out of his pocket. "Let me see. There are 325 first-class passengers like us, 277 second-class passengers, 706 third-class passengers, 908 officers and sailors, and 8 musicians. My goodness, we're like a small city, aren't we?" Mrs. Astor put her hand on a small boat on the side of the ship. "How many of these lifeboats are there?" 20. 20? Mrs. Astor said. "But, can all those people get into 20 lifeboats?" "No, of course not," Thomas Andrews said quietly. "But don't be afraid, Mrs. Astor. We don't really need the lifeboats because the Titanic can never sink. It is the safest ship in the world." The president of the White Star Line, J. Bruce Ismay, was excited about his new ship. He talked to Captain Smith. "How fast can the Titanic go?" Bruce Ismay asked. "About 23 knots, Captain Smith answered. "But we're going about 18 knots now. We don't want to arrive in New York a day early, do we?" "Why not?" Bruce Ismay laughed. "Come on, Captain, let's get there early. The Titanic is going to be famous." Down on E-deck, the third-class passengers talked about America, in many languages. Carla Jensen was Danish, but there were 2 English girls and a Swedish girl in her cabin. Carla's brother Sven and her father's brother Niels were on the Titanic too. In Anaturia's cabin, there were 2 young Finnish women and some children. Milvina Dean was the youngest passenger on the Titanic. She was a baby, only 9 weeks old. Sidney Goodwin was 2 years old. He had a big family. Mother and father, 2 sisters, and 3 brothers were all in the same cabin. Many passengers sent radio messages. In 1912, radio was very new. The 2 radio operators, Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, had a lot of work. In 3 days, they sent 250 messages, and more messages from New York came in from Southampton and from ships. A lot of the radio messages from ships talked about ice. "Be careful. There are a lot of icebergs in the North Atlantic," the messages Jack Phillips said. But Captain Smith was not very worried. He only showed one of these messages to his officers. The Titanic's radio room. The Titanic did not go slower because of the ice. It went on across the Atlantic at more than 20 knots. The passengers walked round the ship. They laughed and talked and ate in the restaurants. Everyone was happy and excited. The lights were on and the music played. Mrs. Astor was right. The Titanic was like a small city, far away on a big cold sea. Chapter 4. Iceberg. On the night of the 14th of April, the weather was good, and there were lots of stars in the night sky. The sea was quiet, but it was very cold. High up in the ship, 2 sailors, Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee, looked out at the black sea and sky. The Titanic hits the iceberg, a passenger's drawing. For 37 long seconds, nothing happened. The Titanic went towards the iceberg, 1,000,000 tons of ice, at 40 kilometers per hour. Then very slowly, the ship began to turn left. Fleet and Lee watched, their mouths open. The iceberg came nearer and nearer. They heard the noise when it hit the right side of the ship. They could see ice down on the deck. Then the iceberg went behind the ship, away into the black night. First Officer Murdoch's face was white. "Stop the engines, quickly," he said. The engines stopped, and the Titanic moved slower and slower. Then it stopped. Many passengers were asleep and did not hear anything, but Colonel Gracie did. He looked at his watch. It was 11:45 p.m. He opened his cabin door and looked out. It was very quiet. "Why can't I hear the engines?" he thought. He put on a warm coat and went out onto the deck. Some passengers saw the ice on the deck and laughed. "Let's put it in our drinks," they said. They played with the ice for a few minutes and then went in, out of the cold. But down in the third-class cabins at the front of the ship, the iceberg made much more noise when it hit the ship. Water came into Daniel Buckley's cabin. He got up and opened his door. There were a lot of people in the corridor. "What's happening?" they asked. "What's wrong?" The 4 girls in Carla Jensen's cabin woke up, but then they went back to sleep. Carla was in bed in her nightdress when Niels Jensen opened the door at 12:30 a.m. "Come on, Carla, get up," he said. "Something's happening. We must go up on deck." So Carla put a coat over her nightdress and went upstairs with Niels. She never saw the girls in her cabin again. A man opened Anna Turia's cabin door too. "Put on your life jackets, girls, quickly," he said. "We're all going into the sea." Chapter 5. CQD Emergency. Captain Smith heard the noise too. He got out of bed quickly. "What's wrong?" he asked First Officer Murdoch. "What was that noise?" "An iceberg, sir," Murdoch answered. "I'm very sorry, but we hit an iceberg. I'm stopping the engines." Slowly, the Titanic stopped. The big, beautiful ship waited on the quiet Black Sea under 1,000 stars. "Close the emergency doors, quickly," said Captain Smith. "They are closed, sir." "That's good. Well done." White Star Line officers with Captain Smith, front center right, and First Officer Murdoch, front right. When the 15 emergency doors were closed, water could not move along the ship from one compartment into the next one. But how many holes were there in the ship? Was there just one hole in one compartment? Captain Smith wanted to know the answer, quickly. Inside the Titanic, Captain Smith, First Officer Murdoch, and Thomas Andrews, the designer of the Titanic, went down into the ship. They found a lot of holes. There was water in compartments 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. "How bad is this?" Captain Smith asked. Thomas Andrews' face was white. He looked very unhappy. "Very bad, I'm afraid," he answered. "This ship is going to sink." "What do you mean?" Captain Smith said. "The Titanic can't sink. You said that to Mrs. Astor yesterday. I heard you." "Yes, I know," Andrews said. "The Titanic is safe with water in 3 compartments. In fact, it is nearly safe with water in 4 compartments. But this is different. The water is coming into 5 compartments. 5. The front of the ship is going to get heavier and heavier. I'm sorry, but we can't stop it. The Titanic is going to sink." "How long have we got?" Captain Smith asked. "I don't know. 2 hours, perhaps. That's all." "Right. Give the passengers their life jackets and get the lifeboats ready," Smith said to Murdoch. Then he walked into the radio room to speak to the Titanic's radio operator, Jack Phillips. "This is an emergency," Captain Smith said. "The ship is sinking. Ask for help." "Yes, sir," Jack Phillips answered. He sent the emergency message. "CQD-MGY, help, Titanic. We are sinking. Please come to help us." It was 12:15 a.m. Chapter 6. Nobody is listening. The nearest ship to the Titanic was the Californian. It was about 16 kilometers away. The Californian knew about the ice, so it stopped at 10:30 that night. At 11:10, the third officer, Charles Groves, saw the lights of a big ship on the right. The Californian tried to send a message with a light to the ship, but there was no answer. At 11:40, the big ship stopped, but Charles Groves did not know why. He did not know that it was the Titanic. In 1912, radio was very new. Most ships had radio, but they didn't listen to it all the time. Cyril Evans, the radio operator on the Californian, went to bed at 11:30. So nobody on the Californian heard the emergency message from Jack Phillips at 12:15 a.m. Rockets from the Titanic people at Cape Race in America heard it, and one man heard it in New York. But for nearly 10 minutes, no ships answered the message. Then, at 12:25, the radio operator on a ship called Carpathia wanted to talk to the Titanic. "Titanic, I have a message for one of your passengers," he said. "Are you listening?" "Come at once," Jack Phillips answered. "This is an emergency. We need help. We are sinking." "Shall I tell the captain?" the Carpathia's radio operator asked. "Yes, please, quickly," Phillips answered. So at 12:35, the Carpathia began to go towards the Titanic, but the Carpathia was 92 kilometers away. From the Titanic, Captain Smith could see the Californian, but he did not know its name, and he could not talk to it on the radio. Jack Phillips tried to call it with the letters CQD and SOS, but nothing happened. Captain Smith tried to send a message with a light, but it did not answer. "It's no good," he said. "Send up the rockets." At 12:45, the first rocket went up into the night sky. It made white lights high over the Titanic. Every 10 minutes after that, a new rocket went up. On the Californian, Second Officer Stone saw the rockets. "That's interesting," he said. He told his captain, Captain Lord. But Captain Lord was tired, so he went to bed. Stone watched the rockets for over an hour, but he did not understand them, so he did nothing. The radio room of the Carpathia,